Hey everybody, this is Kodok here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Dovin Planeswalker deck. Although we're not really going to be doing a deck breakdown in the traditional sense, so my apologies if that is what you were expecting. What we are going to do is we are going to break down how Magic presents its starter deck. This is going to be more about presentation, assembly, and how Magic the Gathering and Wizards of the Coast entice you to buy some more cards. Because here's the thing, is I've actually gone over a number of starter decks on my show and, basically cast some judgments over them without really, discussing the basis for those sorts of analysis. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at how a Magic deck really draws you in and convinces you to buy it, both for people who are new to the game and people who are experienced with it. Now, perhaps I should take a couple of steps back. What exactly is a starter deck? Now, a starter deck, it's just the name that I use for anything that it might also be called a structure deck or a trial deck, or in this case it's called a Planeswalker deck. Anything that uses the word deck in it is usually something that is meant to be played right out of the gate. You can pop it out of the box and you can start playing the game with it right away. It is frequently people's first introduction to the series, so it is very important that you get that presentation right. This Dovin Planeswalker deck is part of a line called Ravnica Allegiance, one that also introduced these theme boosters. What Ravnica is it's a setting in Magic the Gathering where out of the 5 colors, red, blue, green, black, and white, what happened was they took each pair of colors, for example, in this case we have the Azorius, which are white and blue, and assigned a guild to them that sort of exemplify what that combination means. Now with the Azorius, you have the light and justice of the white mana and the sort of control of the blue mana, which makes them into sort of the law keepers. These are like the police, the army, that sort of thing. They are in charge of keeping order. In fact, you can see that here with Dovin's surname, Dovin, Architect of Law. So let's get started actually with Dovin himself. Like you can see Dovin depicted prominently on the front here. This, we can probably assume, based on association, that whoever this person is right here, this sort of cross between, if Jeff Goldblum was a member of the Blue Man Group, we can probably safely assume that this is our guy Dovin, who we also see right here as our legendary Planeswalker depicted on the front of the deck. What this does is this actually creates kind of a nice image. It gives us the idea that whatever is contained inside this deck is like this guy's kit, this guy's arsenal. It's what he uses and what he fights with. So you're essentially picking up this character. Although Planeswalkers are a bit different. They act as more like a buddy that you call out in the middle of battle rather than the actual like character in charge. But moving on, it makes sense. It conveys kind of perfectly the idea as well of who Dovin is. I mean, you can see up here, even if you know nothing about Magic the Gathering, you hear the name Dovin, Architect of Law, and you get a sense of who this guy is. He's very strict, very serious, and you can see how serious he is with him here. He's looking straight ahead. He has no expression. He also have these lenses that make him very analytical, and he's kind of reaching out. And there is another deck. There's a companion deck that comes, that's another starter deck, which is for Gruul, which is red and green, which is all about, about growth and destruction. And Conquest, I guess, would probably be its appropriate definer, where instead of having a really serious character, they have this lady who has a very smug, upturned chin. So you can kind of get a vibe for the character as well as a vibe for how the deck is supposed to work. You can guess that this guy is going to be very serious, very much about containing the abilities of your opponent, while the other one who looks very smug, it's all about, being confident, being brash, and making bold decisions. So you can tell based on the design of the character, if you've never played Magic before and this guy, this picture here, like really speaks to you as being the kind of manipulating mastermind that you see yourself being in this game, then this is the kind of deck you would choose. Magic the Gathering, half of this game is about presentation. You have the art, you have the names here, which perfectly encapsulate what a character is supposed to be and essentially what they stand for. Anyway, moving on a bit to the structure of the box itself, you can see that the box is actually a lot larger than you would think these cards would be. And what happened was there was actually a time where these starter decks were sold in deck boxes that were the perfect size to just hold the cards, things that were very pragmatic and practical. Although that came at a bit of the cost of the presentation, although what really changed things were games like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh!, which needed the extra space to hold like their play mats and rule books and stuff like that. Magic the Gathering didn't really have that. They had like kind of little toilet paper rule books that they stuffed in with the decks, although that too has changed, as we will see as we go. One thing that's nice is you get a very good look at the deck's most prominent card, getting us a literal window into what the deck is all about. So we can see Dovin, Architect of Law. We see that he uses the white and the blue, although the top of the deck will also tell us which colors are used, the ones that are lit up here. There's also the other colors here. It tells us what's in the deck, which is very nice for both experienced, it's mostly for experienced players. People who are brand new to the game maybe won't understand the significance here, but we still get a pretty good vibe. We see basically everything that this card has to offer. There are some that stick to just showing part of the card or showing, you know, just the image of the card, and as long as we get a taste, you know, we get a feel for what we have in here. Some decks also like print the deck lists on the back of the box. It's all about, you know, understanding what you're getting inside the deck. And on the back we have, there we go, Dovin, Architect of Law. So it tells us about the lore. It's the lore mixed with how the deck actually works. Dovin Baan is a fastidious Vedalken engineer with a peerless ability to instantly spot imperfections in any system. Optimize your spells by casting them at the perfect moments and clear the way for your superior flying creatures to pummel your opponents. So you can tell that he is very much about precision and perfection. You can get that gist just from the back. And that is, like I said, that is Magic's amazing combination of both lore and mechanics that really helps it stand out. Like I said, half of Magic is presentation, and a huge part of that comes from the lore that they give. And Ravnica is incredibly popular because of all of the lore that comes with it. So it was nice of them to bring back Ravnica. This isn't the first time we've seen Ravnica. It's nice that they brought it back in order to help rekindle some people's love, which I'd heard a lot of love was lost over some of the more recent sets. So this also tells us, it doesn't give us a deck list, although I imagine most people can look it up on Google. So I actually don't know what I'm getting in here aside from Dovin itself. So it says we get a deck box, a 60-card deck, and 2 15-card booster packs. Now this is something I've talked about before. 2 seems like a bit much to me, but putting a booster pack in your card game is, to me, always a good decision. Like, Lightseekers also put a booster pack in there, because what it does is the deck is how you teach your players how to play your game. Like, they're also like starter sets. They exist to teach people how to play the game, and a booster pack gives them a taste of the game's possible depth. So if this is the only product that they buy, and they buy the starter deck, but it's maybe not something they enjoy, if they open the booster, they might see something inside that more catches their attention and would be something that they might be more likely to invest in the future. So that is why I say always include a booster pack. I have never heard a reason to not include a booster pack in a starter deck. I mean, if you think it's because it's a bit of an added cost, consider it a sunk cost. Consider it marketing. Don't really boost the cost there. Although, like I said, 2 seems like a lot, although actually looking at the contents inside the box, as you can see I've already done, I can understand a bit of why they went with 2 packs instead of just 1, although in one case, it's Magic. They can get away with that. So, however, here's another thing about having 2 booster packs in there. A booster pack is normally $4, and this starter deck is $16, so that's $8 in value right there. Even if I don't need anything, even if I'm not really using much inside the deck itself, I can see that I'm only having to pay $8 to get this starter deck because I'm getting the free booster packs inside as well, and that is a huge advantage that this has. And part of it is because it's Magic the Gathering. They can afford to lower their margin a bit because they win through sheer volume, but it still is worth paying attention to how Magic actually works things. Although, let's take a look inside here. So, one thing I don't like about the Magic box, about this box here, is you have to destroy it in order to open it. Like, you got this big rip right here. I am a bit more of a fan of boxes you can reuse, although they do alleviate that a little bit as we get inside. So inside here is astonishingly not very much. So what we have here, I mean, we have a security tag. Along with that, we have Dovin here, who's actually part of a clamshell case into which we get the nice big Jeff Goldblum box. And one thing I have to note about this box is that you can tell from the size of it, it's a lot larger than what you'd expect a regular deck box to look like. And that's because this deck box here has been calibrated to handle cards in protective sleeves. And this is actually new for me in a starter deck. Normally you have to buy like some sort of special edition to get a box like this. Like this came in the Elite Trainer box for Pokemon Plasma Storm. The fact that they've made this move is actually pretty tremendous. It has been a while since I made a starter deck. This could have been a thing for 5 years for all I know, but it definitely gives your players a lot more respect, because these days putting your cards in protective sleeves is something that even little kids do. So it's nice to see that they've created a deck box that they intend for you to use in the future. And it has the name straight on it, so if you just leave this deck as it is and just sleeve it up and set it in your deck collection, you can quickly thumb through and figure out what it is. At the same time, it acts as card storage. And we of course have this guy here. I'm not a big fan of setting cards up like this. You just kind of worked before. We just kind of poke it out there. That does have a bit of a negative effect though, as it makes it very easy for the card to become damaged when you try to remove it, and it bends a bit with the moisture. Holographic cards are very very susceptible to that. But when we open the box, we see that everything else is inside. We have our recommended list. We have our rule book. We have our 2 booster packs. Oh, there she is. That's the character I was talking about, who on the other deck has that nice smug expression. We got our 2 booster packs, and we get our still sealed deck of cards. So I'm sure you're wondering, if everything would fit inside of this box here, why do we have all of this stuff, all of this box and stuff like that? And like I said, it is purely about conveying value. It's about telling whoever is looking at your deck that this has a lot of worth. That's kind of an interesting phenomenon with packaging in general, is you'll find a lot of things are packed with a lot more than they actually need, which is definitely the case here, because you can see just how much space is unused. Part of it is expectations. Like I said, deck boxes had to increase in size in order to accommodate things like the rule book, the playmat, or anything like that, although Magic has never used that. And another is to convey value. For a lot of card game players, this kind of size is expected, as that's the value it portrays, although it also portrays value to potential customers. We get this nice, big, colorful box with the picture of our main character in the deck, our star attraction right on the front. It's nice, big, and colorful. People can see it. People can get a good look at what they have on the back. Like I said, the presentation is great. So we have the booster packs, from what I can tell, are basically meant to help keep everything still inside of this box so that it doesn't rattle around, because this little rule book we have here, although I think it's actually direct instructions on how to play this deck in particular, the Dovin Architect of Law deck in particular. I kind of wish there were 2 things I think that would have made this starter deck perfect, and that would have been a standard set of rules, although most people who play Magic tend to know the rules already, and some kind of spin down life counter. You start Magic with 20 life, and there's they make 20-sided die that you spin down to keep your life total managed. That, I think, you know, packed in like here or something, if they'd shifted this down a bit and packed like a spin die up at the top or in the bottom here, that would have been perfect. Although, you know, I got life counters sticking around. Like, I've got this little Ultra Pluro Liliana that's actually a set of dials on here that I can definitely work with. So there are more than enough ways to monitor your life points, although I still think it would have made it perfect to have a nice like blue and white die that came in here, the way they include the special coins in with the Pokemon starter deck. That would have been nice. I'd have dropped a booster pack and maybe dropped the price down to $15 to get that. But like I said, a huge part of it is the portrayal of value. It's designed to have the images that really draw you in, that draw you into the lore of Magic. A lot of people enjoy Magic not just for its mechanical systems, but for the lore, the flavor text. Like, I'm a weirdo. My favorite Magic the Gathering set is actually Mercadian Masks, because it just has so much character to it. Whereas you look at a deck like the Tech Starter deck for Lightseekers, and you know, it's got that exciting color, but I'm not really getting a lot out of this here. I mean, we have like characters on the sides here, but we don't have like a nice big picture of the main attraction on the front of the deck. Although they have changed that since in the other decks, the Kindred deck, and I think they're coming out with a new set that's also going to have that, where they actually do go ahead and put like the major character on the front, and that's good. A starter deck's front should tell you exactly what you're getting into, what this deck is all about. In this case, it's about control. It's a blue-white control deck. Blue-white is always exceptionally dangerous, and to my understanding, the Dovin deck is the one that people are hunting for the most, the Dovin and the Azorius. So 4 rares, and we have one that has Dovin in it to further sort of encapsulate the fact that this is a deck about this guy. We have the card Dovin's Dismissal, and we got the Azorius symbol there, a lot of fun lore. We have this sort of hanging crown. Comes with 4 rare cards by the look of it: Concordia, Pegasus, Prowling Caracal. So we have like, they're actually a little bit mixed around, but it's nice to see this. And then we have Azorius Knight Arbiter, Elite Arrestor. This is a card that works, that a lot of them are combined. It's a lot of cards that have the synergy. You have the ones that directly cost white and blue, but then you have this guy who costs white to play but needs blue to tap. A lot of that great synergy. Oh, a full playset of Azorius Guildgate. Now, I was not expecting that. Those are very nice. They are the multi-lands. I was expecting to have to supplement that. We have some more here. Arrestor's Zeal, Summary Judgment, Code of Constraint, Sphinx's Insight. Lots of fun cards here. You can imagine, it's clearly a bit, it's not the best deck out there. It's designed to be a starter deck. It's a place to get your start. I can definitely see a bunch of places where I would pop the stuff I got in my Azorius theme booster in order to improve it. So that's another thing you get, is a perfect starter deck also gives you places to see where you can improve it. Like I can see using things like Law Mage's Binding, which is a card that for 1 colorless, 1 blue, and 1 white, again that mix of colors, basically renders a creature completely inert, removing all of its abilities and its ability to attack. So there are definitely a lot of cards I can see going into this deck. Like I said, I'm not really going to do a full deck breakdown, but we can see a lot of the interesting things. Now, Addendum, that is an effect we have here, that if you cast this step during your main phase, you can tap that creature and it doesn't untap. You can get additional effects for playing this card during your main phase, or you can play it as an instant. Now, a card that allows you to draw cards that can be played as an instant is actually really good. Normally, they're a sorcery. Now, a sorcery is something, it takes like a long time to play. You have to play it during your turn outside of battle. An instant, you can play at any time. So, like with Sphinx's Insight, if I want to keep my mana free in order to cast cancel a response to one of my opponent's actions, then I can play this right at the end of my opponent's turn as an instant and then draw the cards, while then completely replenishing my energy supply at the very start of my turn. That is how Addendum gives you that choice. So this is what they're talking about, the right moment. It's like, do I play it at the end of my opponent's turn so that I don't waste the energy, or do I play it on my turn to get the additional effect? So that is what they mean by Dovin picking the right time. So they've definitely gotten it right on a presentation angle. But yeah, this is what you get in a modern Magic the Gathering starter deck. You get the box that allows you to hold sleeves. This is something I keep pushing on, is people like to sleeve their cards, and the fact that Magic has started including the sleeve-sized cards, the sleeve-size card boxes in their starters, tells me that they have started to acknowledge that. I gave Spin Master some trouble for making an additional box that doesn't hold sleeves, but Boxes meant to hold sleeves have been a thing for a while, especially when it's bought as an additional thing. Like, in the sheet here, they mentioned the Deck Builder's Toolkit, which is a card box. It's a long card box that comes with a bunch of cards, half of which are land cards, and it's a box size to hold cards and sleeves. It's a big thing. I like this starter deck's presentation. It catches you with some really interesting lore that also details some of the mechanics. It contains everything I need in order to both play and stash the cards, minus a life counter, which I guess I'd have to provide. And it comes with a chance to sample some of the game's additional depth. Like, this is going to contain a bunch of cards that I'm not going to see, like Tithe Taker. Seems like another good card that would fit in there, even though it's more a white-black. I'm not sure which guild that is. Another copy of Sphinx's Insight. I could modify the deck right away with an additional Sphinx's Insight, or another Senate Courier, Angelic Exaltation. And we got the Semic Guild Gate. All of them contain a Guild Gate, and I believe they're just regular. They're not like some kind of special pack. Like, I've seen decks that come with like a special pack, but this is a good old regular one. Like, there's a Mythic right there, Biogenic Ooze. Got Depose and Deploy. There's another one, the Split cards. It's nice that it contains things that allow me to mess with the deck right away. Oh, there it is, Law Mage's Binding. So this is a card, and it has Flash as well. So if I wanted to, I'd have to choose between playing Law Mage's Binding and Sphinx's Insight on my turn if I wanted to use it. Flash means I can play it at any time. Normally an enchantment is like a sorcery. You have to spend the extra time to play it. And it basically shuts a card down, and that's something else that would fit in the Dovin's deck. So I like it. It gives me a deck that has a cohesive feel, but you can also see room to improve it. And it comes with 2 chances to pull cards that I could directly use to do just that, as well as giving me a taste of what the other guilds might have to offer. So that is, like I said, this is how the big boys do it. They basically lay it out this way. They keep it economical. This deck was $16. Although that makes it only $8 if I treat each of these bonus booster packs at their base price of $4. So it conveys value. It gives you the lore. It tells you what you're getting in the deck, at least one card, and it gives you the chance to expand and explore. So this is what you want to do with a starter deck. It is truly a thrill to take a look at. So anyway, until next time, why did they make a 5-cost 10/10? Anyway, this is Kodak signing off. Oh, by the way, these like guild theme boosters, I think they are a wonderful idea. I can imagine people have just been loving these to death. I know I like them. They're like the perfect space between a starter deck and a booster pack, where they cost more than a booster pack, but they're much more specifically targeted. You're only going to be getting blue and white, artifact and land cards in here. You won't be getting any red, green, or black. So very nice on how to do it.